Alright, so today we're going to relocate the NOx sensor on a 1999 Nissan Pathfinder. So the first thing we're going to do, since we're working with some electrical components, and it's not a bad idea to do it anytime you have the hood open, is to disconnect the battery cable. Now I've already loosened this nut here, so it's going to pop right off. We'll get that down out of the way. Now what we want to do is locate the NOx sensor harness wire. And I've already taken the liberty of slicing it open. What I'll do is get a good look at that. So right here, this wire, inside it, you'll see a green and a red striped wire, and then you'll see this black wire here. This black wire is the NOx sensor harness wire, and it's got this black coating on it, and inside it has a white coated wire plus this silver coating. It's kind of like a coaxial cable. Now what we need to do is free this up so we have a little more room to work with, and then we're going to splice both the silver coating to one end of the harness and the inner white wire to another part. So up here on the top there's this cable holder. This is a 10 millimeter bolt right here. We're going to pop that out. Should come out pretty easy. Now what you'll need to do, you're going to need to get a replacement bolt that's the same diameter. That'll be long enough to go through the top of the NOx sensor. I believe it's a 6 millimeter bolt. This guy here is just about the right length. See, it's the same amount sticking out below the bottom of the NOx sensor. Now what we're going to do, with a longer bolt, we're going to put our NOx sensor in its new location. Now you want the harness coming off to the left side so you have some room, so you don't have to splice wires that are too long. Tighten the NOx sensor on there. Don't want to over tighten this, just want to make sure it stays in place. Good and snug there. Alright, so now we got to do some work splicing this little cable so we get that silver lining out. And we're going to match it up to the inside of our new harness wire here. So we're going to have to cut open the new harness wire so that we expose these cables so we can splice them. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do here, snip these wires here. We have some working room. When you're working on this stuff, be careful not to cut your thumb like I just did, which is pretty dumb. You always want to be cutting your razor blades down on a hard surface instead of against your fingers. The next thing we got to do is we have the white wire and the copper coated wire here with a clear coating on it. And we're going to hook that up to our knock sensor harness off the vehicle here. Alright, so the next step here is to splice these wires. This white coax wire, oddly enough, is actually going to go into this white wire here. So the coax again, which is the silver lining to this white wire from the knock sensor harness. Get your splices in there. Get them in there. Pinch them together. Alright, so now you can see here we have this white wire. This is going to a clear coated wire here on the knock sensor harness here. That's going to the knock sensor. And here the other one, which is the white wire coming off the knock sensor, goes to the silver lining on the vehicle here. Alright, so now what we're going to do is reattach the negative battery cable so we can start this up and see if we can clear the code and not have it come back. Make sure we haven't caused any new problems. Negative battery cable, we cleared the codes on here, so we're going to go ahead and start it up. Well, it's running, that's always a good sign. Alright, so there's no code, so what we're going to do now is take it for a test drive and see if anything comes up. Now before we take it for a test drive, we're going to do a little bit better job covering these wires up. So what I'm going to try to do is slide it back onto what's left over of this knock sensor harness cover and then wrap a little tape around it. Then we're going to cover up the those wires that go up to the injector rail as well. That's because we slice that open to give ourselves some working room when we unhook the knock sensor wire. Alright, so now if you get a close up here, you can see that wire's covered up nicely, and that leads up to our newly mounted knock sensor. And back down here we've covered up the parts that we spliced open on the covering that goes to the last set of injectors there.